In my childhood, when we went out, I used to see my mom get annoyed at dad probably 8 out of 10 times because my dad was perpetually late. We would plan to leave home by 8 pm, but we couldn't because my dad had to go to potty just one more time, just one last try. I have seen this all my childhood. On a typical evening, we are going out to have fun. You would see my mom dressed up, ready to leave at 8 pm. She's standing at the door, waiting, sulking, and shouting at my dad, "You always make us wait. How does going out remind you of going to the toilet every time? Like, what is this system?" And my dad would answer back, "Anita, it's just 5 minutes. Count it." It wasn't 5 minutes, it was easily 10, sometimes 15. Then years passed by and an interesting thing happened. When I got into a relationship, guess which side did I find myself on? I found myself behaving like my mother. My girlfriend is, as she likes to call it, relaxed and chilled out, which means that she's able to transcend the flow of time as presented by a typical clock. For her, time unrolls in big chunks like afternoon, evening, night, late night, super late night, then afternoon again. So for her, reaching at 2 pm or 3 pm or 4 pm is pretty much the same thing because it's all in the afternoon. But this puts me in a difficult position because I tend to make a distinction between 2 pm and 3 pm. It's hard to ignore. Initially, I used to get annoyed, especially when I went to pick her up and she wasn't ready. Like, I was a person who expected, if I'm taking the trouble of driving to come and pick you up, you better be a decent human and come out of your house at least 10 seconds before I reach. Yeah, when I reach your home, I should find you standing at the gate waiting for me, not the other way around. But just because I want something doesn't mean I'll get it. The most common thing was, I reach, I call her, "Babe, I'm here, come down." She says, "5 minutes." What? Again? Why? The worst part was I knew it was going to be more than 5 minutes. So I don't know, somehow my response to that situation was, I need to keep calling her from the car. I need to keep reminding her to hurry. Even if she doesn't actually come any sooner, at least she'll realize I'm in severe pain here. I won't let her be happy while I'm unhappy here. Maybe if I give her enough stress, she might learn a lesson and not repeat it. This wouldn't work, obviously. Then she would come down walking faster than usual, such a sweetheart. She would enter the car sheepishly, knowing she messed up again. And before driving off, I would give her a serious stare. Like, "You betrayed me again. Like, I've been here 12 minutes. Do you know what this means? I could have left my home 12 minutes late. My nap could have been 12 minutes longer. I came on time for you, for this plan. But why would you care? You do this again, I'm gonna just cancel the plan, go back home." I said all of this through my eyes, sometimes through words, and then I sulked. I had to, couldn't just let this go. Sometimes I came back to normal in a few minutes, sometimes it took much longer, and sometimes it led to proper heated arguments. But in each case, our happiness of that evening was somewhat negatively affected. It became a pattern and I realized something had to change. Someone had to change. Who would it be? Of course me, because I only control me. Today's video is also going to be about how psychotherapy, especially cognitive therapy, works. Usually I just give out better ideas. Today I'm going to give you some behind the scene glimpses, the process behind regulating emotions. Behind anger or any other emotion for that matter, there are two major things: chemicals in your body and thoughts. To work on chemicals, the options are psychiatric medicines, exercise, good sleep, etc. To work on thoughts, two big options are meditation and psychotherapy. All of them can be helpful, but my personal favorite is, of course, psychotherapy, which I use with exercise and good sleep. In this case, I had to do self-psychotherapy, and I'll tell you how I did that. I started with a goal, the treatment plan. The goal here was clear. Next time I have to wait for her when I'm picking her up, I shouldn't be this agitated. So the goal is, let's say I have to bring my anger down from level 7 to level 1 or even 0. You can think of psychotherapy like making a logical argument. There are thoughts in the form of propositions, premises, evidence, reasons that lead to emotions which we can call conclusions. We almost always have evidence on both sides. Like in this case, I can find reasons to be angry and I can find reasons to not be angry. Based on the power of reasons for and against, my mind will get to the conclusion whether I should be angry or not. Sadly, most of the times you're not even aware how your mind is finding strange reasons. It's happening automatically. We call them automatic thoughts. You're not even aware that there's an evil lawyer inside your brain which is passing on secret evidence to the judge, and the judge is giving the verdict, you should be angry. To change this verdict, you need to first find out what that evil lawyer is doing. Evil lawyer is nothing but the part of you which is emotional, ignorant, and full of cognitive errors. To find out what evil lawyer is doing, you'll often have to introspect, you'll have to think hard. So that's what I did. I first made a list of all the thoughts or beliefs which could be leading to my anger. It took me about half an hour to identify these. I had to keep asking myself, what's triggering me? What am I not liking here? What is really bothering me? And here's what I came up with. First, exaggerated discomfort. In my mind, I was really exaggerating the discomfort of waiting for 5 to 10 minutes in the car. I realized that I was just looking at the watch every 30 seconds and I was acting like I'm in the worst possible state, which must end immediately. Second, impatience for destination. I realized that I was also becoming impatient for the destination, the actual activity, like reaching the mall, reaching for the movie, reaching for the party, and I didn't want someone else to delay it. Like this need to reach there faster was making me impatient. Third, punctuality repetition. Often I got agitated because I wanted to be a person who reaches everywhere on time. Like I don't want others to think I'm late. I want to maintain the reputation of punctuality, but if she's late, that reputation can have a dot. Also, it would seem odd that I go and tell everyone, oh, I was on time, I'm late because of her. That would seem childish and petty. I want to be punctual, but I also want to be seen as large-hearted. Somehow my mind was stuck with this notion that when it comes to my reputation of punctuality, I only have limited number of jail-free cards. If I'm late too often, people will see a pattern. So I only have room for my own goof-ups. Maybe I can include one or two from her side, but she has used up her quota this month. So she better be on time now, otherwise my reputation is at risk. Fourth, demeaning. For some reason, my mind was finding it demeaning to have to wait for her like that, as if I'm her worker. By the way, nothing wrong with being a worker, a driver, a servant. I'm not looking down on any job. The anger is coming from this fact that I'm not here to work for you. You don't get to use me like that. Yeah, one part of my mind loves her, the other part is fighting for human rights. Fifth, inconsiderate and unfair. I was taking it personally, she was not respecting my time, my presence. Like it's inconsiderate. If I'm making extra effort to pick her up, the least she can do is make the extra effort of being on time. It's give and take. If she continues to make me wait, this is unfair to me. Sixth, disappointment and a hurting ego. If I've asked her 10 times before to be on time, why is she not changing herself? Why is she ignoring my needs? Am I not important enough for her? Like this is not a big expectation that I have. She can easily do this, especially when she knows how much this means to me. Now I think she's intentionally ignoring me. Maybe I need to start a bigger fight, then she will understand. When I first finished writing all these things, my feeling was, what a load of garbage I'm carrying inside my mind, without even being fully conscious of it. And that's how the evil lawyer works. It is playing with your emotions, with ideas you didn't even know you had. And I've written down 6 reasons above. I'm sure there must be more which I'll uncover as I progress. After I wrote these things down, it was already a good feeling because I now understood myself with so much more clarity. This is a form of mindfulness. Now I'm mindful of the ignorance, errors, and negative thoughts. And the wonderful thing about our mind is, once you're mindful of a negative thought and you stare at it directly, it loses some grip. It becomes less powerful. You become able to say to these thoughts, jig is up, I caught you red-handed, now you can't fool me anymore. Being mindful of these automatic thoughts is a great start, however, not the complete solution. You need more. To fight the evil lawyer, you need a wise lawyer. You need stronger arguments on the other side. The wise lawyer needs to convince the judge in your mind that his case is much stronger and the verdict must be, no need to be agitated, you can wait in the car peacefully. So then I started to build the case. And here I have 2 strategies, both of which must be used together. First, I'll dispute the 6 automatic thoughts that were mentioned above. I have to take away power from the argument made by the evil lawyer. So I'll need to focus on each automatic thought one by one and come up with an answer for it. An answer convincing enough for the judge in my mind that the evidence of evil lawyer must be ignored and that the wise lawyer is more reliable. Second, I'll make use of some general wise reasons. There are hundreds of general thoughts which can convince you in any moment to stay calm, to avoid anger, to care for others, to think rationally, etc. Once you learn them, internalize them, you can pull them out anytime and they will immediately make your wise case stronger. So this is what I'll do now. I'll now build a case with both specific reasons and general reasons. The structure of specific section would sound something like, my mind was interpreting the situation as X, which was unwise. Now I interpret the situation as Y, which is wiser. Let's now go through all specific thoughts mentioned above with the structure. First, earlier my mind was exaggerating the discomfort of waiting in the car. Now I see it differently. I reminded myself that waiting for 10 to 12 minutes is actually not that big of a deal, even for me. I waited for friends in a mall as they come for a movie. I wait in line for my turn at McDonald's on Sundays. I wait for a customer care executive to come back on the call as they check my data. I wait an hour at the airport before the flight. I wait for a concert to start as the main artist is late. I wait for my food as the delivery guy takes longer than usual. I have waited for people as they come to pick me up and are late. I'm not saying I enjoy these other times, but I never get this agitated. So I can't really tell myself that waiting is very uncomfortable. It's not, at least not this much. Secondly, I'm not exactly in any uncomfortable position. I'm in my car, AC is on, it's a comfortable seat. Why am I complaining so much? I need to stop this. Second, earlier I wanted to reach the destination as soon as possible, making me impatient. Now I think 5 to 10 minutes hardly matter. If you reach a party even half an hour late, people don't care all that much. If you reach a restaurant 10 minutes late, nobody minds. Other people are used to this. Nobody is going to break their friendship with me because I was 10 to 15 minutes late. As for the delay in fun, I can have fun right now in the car. I can watch something on my phone. I can listen to music in the car. Fun is anyway something that should come within you. I should be able to have fun wherever I am. I'm not going to live a life where I keep thinking fun will start once I reach somewhere. So if I can have fun right here and people don't care all that much, why am I in such a hurry? I really don't need to be this impatient. Third, earlier I was thinking that by being late I would ruin my punctuality reputation. Now I think that's not how it works. People around you understand who's punctual, who's not. If my girlfriend is making me wait, then she must have made other people wait too, which means that people know that it's her, not me. In the long run, my reputation doesn't really depend on someone else's mistakes. As time passes, I'll have countless opportunities to display my personality and character, and I can rely on that. So, I need not worry too much about one night or one outing, and even if this repeats, same thing, people understand that it's not me. Fourth, earlier I saw waiting for someone as demeaning, as if waiting for you means I must be lower in value. Now I think of it as just a small favor I'm doing to someone. Human relationships involve some give and take. You do favors, others do you favors. When my friend typically calls me, hey, would you do me a favor and pick me up? I have no problem. I love doing that favor. I've been picking friends up for years, usually without a second thought. So now I need to extend the favor to waiting for them as well. Now when she calls me, I imagine her saying to me, hey, would you do me a favor of picking me up and waiting for 5 minutes also? Now this is what I choose to hear. Instead of seeing it as demeaning, I just now see it as part of the package of me doing her a favor. And since favors are part of give and take in the relationship, it's fine. Fifth, earlier I saw her behavior as inconsiderate towards me. I was taking it personally. Now I realize that it's almost never a good idea to take things personally. She's not making me wait intentionally. She's making me wait because of her own mismanagement of time. She's also a victim of it. When I meet her, I shouldn't see her as a person making my life difficult. I should see her as a person who's struggling with her own difficulties. She's not inconsiderate. She's just not the best at planning time. She is like that with other people also. Other people have to wait too. Why should I take it personally? It's not about me, it's about her. Sixth, earlier I was testing how much importance she gives to my needs and my ego was hurt because I felt she wasn't giving any. So every time she was late, it added to my resentment. Now I realize that she's repeatedly late, not because she finds my needs unimportant, but because changing habits is actually not so easy. Just because you fight with someone for 10 times doesn't guarantee they'll change. Secondly, it's a very bad idea to test someone's love towards you based on some single issue. Like if she doesn't care about this, she doesn't care about me. This generalization is a cognitive error. It must be avoided. I must keep an overall view of the relationship at all times. This was a sample of how I disputed the specific thoughts related to this issue. I say sample because those wiser thoughts are actually much more detailed in my mind. What I said above were just conclusions. There are in-depth reasons why I think like that. But even this would not have been enough. I was able to change my emotions successfully because I always carry some general wiser belief systems that I have accumulated over the years. They are like magic wands which can make you feel less angry immediately. Here are some examples. First, I should be grateful I have a girlfriend. Not everybody has a partner. I can't take her for granted. She can leave me. She can die. Before I get too angry, I must remind myself that my life is good with her. This must show in my feelings and in my words. When I talk to her, I need to keep in mind all the good there is in the relationship. I must remain grateful for her strengths too. How she is honest, fun-loving, empathetic, etc. Second, I should accept her unconditionally. If my happiness is dependent on changing her, I'll be unhappy always. She already meets my absolute basic expectations like no cheating, no violence, no substance addictions, etc. So now that the starting point of this is good enough and overall this relationship is more good than bad, I need to stop complaining and fighting. I have to accept her and I can only request her to change. Third, cost versus benefit of this. Is fighting for this worth it? I'm gonna ruin her mood for 12 minutes of waiting. I now generally believe that cost of engaging in a fight far outweighs the benefits in the long run. Hence, I have learned to put people first. I try to prioritize a human's experience over other things. Like people have feelings. They can suffer. People have a memory, so the relationship can suffer. Hence, I choose not to fight with people over material things, plans, traditions, etc. Of course, there are exceptions, but I do this as much as possible. Fourth, I have to remember I make mistakes too. Sometimes I run late as well. I wouldn't want other people to be agitated at me, so my angry reaction for her is hypocritical. Fifth, I firmly believe there's always a better, nicer, calmer way to say the same thing. I might not see it right now, but if I go home and think or read about it, I can find one. Sixth, I'm gonna die in a few decades. Life is so short, let's try to make it as pleasant as possible. This is not an exhaustive list, not even close. There are many more thoughts that I carry within myself which keep my anger away. But these were some big ones. I can write a whole book on each of these. If you're hearing these thoughts for the first time, they won't do much for you. These thoughts will only work if you really know why they make sense, if you know the reasons behind them. In a way, these thoughts in themselves are also conclusions for which you need a lot of reasons or evidence. In that sense, wisdom is this web of reasons and conclusions. For the conclusion, I must not be angry, you need the reason, I must remain grateful. And for the conclusion, I must remain grateful, you need its own reason. For example, we are born with a negativity bias which was useful when we were in the forest but not so useful in 21st century and thus must be checked through use of gratitude. A good news is that there seems to be unity of wisdom just like unity of knowledge, meaning one good conclusion makes your web stronger and allows you to reach bigger and better conclusions. Good ideas tend to complement other good ideas, not conflict with them. And even if there's a conflict in two good ideas, for example, liberty for all and equality for all, the conclusion involves some kind of balance between the two, which basically means preserving the essentials of both sides. When you watch this video, you might think, why is he thinking so much for such a small issue in life? If he thinks like that, how does he even live? First, I should tell you all of this seems much longer when I talk about it than it is when it's processed in my head. In my brain, all of those thoughts are processed naturally and pretty fast, simply because of practice over the years. Yes, it does get easy. The first time it takes the longest, but with each repetition it becomes automatic behavior. Additionally, once you learn a new wiser belief system, it helps in many other areas as well. So with time you use it in diverse ways and it becomes stronger in you. Second, this is a big reason I chose psychology and counseling. This is the beauty of my job. I work on my own happiness and the process is useful for others too. Like you might just get half an hour a day to work on your problems. I have many hours. That's my job. I have made my own peace of mind as the qualification for this job. This forces me to work on myself before I help others. Because of this, my life experience keeps getting better at an above average rate. By the way, remember, I'm not claiming that in this issue mentioned above, I have become a complete sage. Even now, sometimes when I pick her up, you can find me saying on the phone, "I'm here, where are you? Hurry up, just come outside without makeup, you look cute anyway," etc. You'll still find me following up with her to make sure I only reach her place at the exact second that she comes out. Like, I'm always trying to have the perfect sync. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't. The only difference is, now my negative emotions are very diluted, like from a degree of 7 or 8 to a degree of 1 or 2. They are in enough control that I don't let it actually ruin my mood, that I don't let it turn into a fight. I'll still roast her, say some sarcastic lines, give her a mean look, but then forget about it in 30 seconds. In that way, I continue to casually convey my expectations, but I don't fight about them. This transition was possible only because of the work that I did on myself, and I can say with confidence that my relationship is better because of it. Before I go, let me give you an update. With time, she has become better too. Now she isn't so late everywhere. She's often on time, and when she's late, it's not as bad, like it's usually less than 5 minutes. I believe it's because of my influence. She disagrees. If you want to see me grow faster, you can help me in 2 ways. First, if you are feeling generous, please make a donation. I'll use it to hire video makers and researchers. By the way, I'm very grateful to people who have been making donations to me. They are my lifelines. Please continue to do so. Second, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon for notifications. Please do it right now.